Hello and welcome to Deep Dive Cinema, the only comic book and movie podcast where we seemingly record in a different room every week.
Yeah, well, we gotta, keep things interesting.
Yeah.
Make sure that the sound quality is different every week. Just to keep you on your toes, Are we gonna be in a large empty room?
Is it gonna
a
be
small
echoey?
padded room? Who knows? Yeah, it's a surprise every week.
Maybe there'll be mice in it, guest appearance, who knows?
Mickey Mouse.
Ooh.
I can't do the voice, but if I could, we'd have a little guest cameo appearance right now.
Yeah, imagine it anyway.
Hey, I just wanted to open up by saying that I've just heard news that Scott Derrickson, director of Doctor Strange, his house is burnt down in the California fires this morning. So wanted to send our, thoughts out there and hope that he's doing okay and nothing too important was lost in the fire. So
yeah, oof.
God bless you, Scott.
Love your work.
Yeah, that's a rough situation.
Oh yeah.
That's really rough. These California fires seem to be worse and worse every year. It does seem that way, doesn't it? Yeah. So look after yourselves out there if you're in California. I just wanted to quickly plug our Instagram, moving straight on into self-promotion from that. Deep Dive Cinema on Instagram. Give us a follow. We post kind of funny comic stuff, and we post original art sometimes as well, which Elliot draws.
Yeah.
Follow us there. Kind of, we'll give you updates on how we're doing, when we're going to post and stuff like that. And I've got a video coming out. I'll probably put it up Monday, Tuesday, around that kind of time, which is about... I kind of took a deep dive into what year Captain Marvel might be set in.
Yeah, and you really looked at different frames. You looked at there's a plane in it, and you worked out what plane it was and everything. You really looked into.
It took a bit of research.
Yeah.
So stay subscribed, and you can see that when it comes out, and hopefully it's kind of interesting or informative, one of the above.
Yeah.
Great. So, do you want to? What are we going to talk about this week, Elliot?
We're gonna talk a little bit about Oscars because we had a look at some of the. We're coming up into kind of Oscar season, aren't we?
Yeah.
And we had a look at the kind of the films that people kind of expect are going to be winning Oscars. One in particular, I'd like to talk about for a little bit.
Yeah, do.
And we're just going to talk about what our thoughts are on them and
sure, yeah. So just bear in mind that we haven't seen most of these films, and we're kind of going to make some predictions based on the trailers and kind of the buzz around them. Yeah. We're just going to take a bit of a step away from comic book stuff just for today, or
Yeah, well, we've got a crap comic book character.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
yeah. But we're going to talk about just the Oscars for now. Yeah. So what's the film you want to talk about?
I did all my research for this last week, so whenever you bring up a film, then give me a one sentence description, I'll be like, oh yeah, that one. Okay,
right.
The one I wanted to talk about is The Hate You Give.
Oh yeah.
Or The Hate You Gave.
I think it's give.
Yeah.
Yeah, and U is spelled just the letter U.
Yeah, because it's a quote from Tupac, where it's an anagram for Thug Life.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and it's the hate you give little infants F's everyone. So he was like, hey, I know y'all are about that thug life, but be nice to kids.
Oh, I see. Right, so that's life. It took me too long to work out that was life.
Okay. Yeah. But
it's a little contrived, I'm not going to lie, Tupac. No hate. Come on, man.
Yeah, but
you're better than this.
I read this book when it not when it first came out, but when it kind of got some following.
Yeah.
Because I read a lot of teen novels because I'd like to write teen novels, so I kind of what's going on, and I really didn't enjoy it.
Okay.
I didn't enjoy the writing. I didn't enjoy the pacing. But from the look of the film, I think I'll enjoy the film a lot more. And I had the same problem with the film was Love, Simon. The book was Simon versus the Homo Sapien Agenda, where I enjoyed the
Homo Sapien Agenda.
The Homo Sapien Agenda, yeah.
Okay.
But I
haven't seen the film or read the book.
No, but I enjoyed the film.
What's the Homo Sapien Agenda?
That means the human agenda.
Yeah, but what is it?
It's just I guess it's not liking gay people. I don't know.
Oh.
But
okay.
I really enjoyed the film, but the book I couldn't finish it.
Really?
Yeah. So I think at the moment there's kind of this kind of category of films based on teen books, which are kind of almost written to be films.
Yeah, Ready Player One.
Yeah, like Ready Player One, where the films, they're like, okay, there's obviously some problems with this book, so we're going to fix them up a little bit.
Yeah.
Whereas the books are kind of just really playing to be a film and to get like a cult following immediately.
Right.
I guess 13 Reasons Why.
That's kind of the one about the girl who kills herself.
Yeah. I think that one.
Sorry, I'm pretty outside the sphere of these kind of teen movies. I've seen like a few of them. I think like Hunger Games was the last kind of I saw the first couple of them. That was kind of where I left off.
I think that one is more. People don't like. A lot of people don't like the show or the book. Right. But again, it was kind of up to the filmmakers to improve it, and so stuff like in the Love Simon book, like they're just constantly making references to anime. No character is a nice person. It's just really hard to get through.
The only thing better than watching anime is listening to someone else talk about anime.
Yeah, but then
I've always said it.
But then when you watch the film, they've like actually given the characters flaws and interesting things. Okay. And I think we'll possibly get the same thing with this, where everyone seemed so two-dimensional. Yeah. In the book, like the main character, they do that thing where like instead of giving her a personality, we're going to give her a very specific interest, and that'll just replace her having a personality. Yeah. So she just loves shoes.
Oh, no.
But not in a like, oh, I love shopping. She's like, sneakers are like her life, and someone spills...
to be fair, I relate.
Yeah, but like, at the start, someone like spills some beer on their shoe, and she's like, whoa, hold on, don't you dare wipe, you've got to dab that off. I'm like, what? Why?
Okay, that's a really odd...
Why was this the character... why was this the character decision they made for?
You do see that a lot in young teen stuff, particularly. And honestly, I've been guilty of it in my writing before as well, where you do kind of replace them with just like they have a thing that they do. Or you look at a situation and you're like, what would a person do in this situation? And then you're like, well, this character is crazy and they're just not going to do that, Yeah. And I think like the John Green books, especially, like, while I kind of enjoyed them when I was a younger teen, like, well, I say younger teen, I'm 22, so I'm not a teen anymore. But when I go back and think about them now, I'm kind of like, yeah, that was kind of just like a filler for anything more substantial.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm hoping that this film does okay.
Okay, what is it? Just coming out in cinemas? It's not like Amazon or Netflix or anything.
No, it's coming out in cinemas, and I hope I hope it's a lot better than the book, because the book obviously it touched on some really important things, but I just felt it did it really badly. Okay, I felt it would just couldn't finish it.
It's about racism.
Yeah, it's about racism and police brutality. So in it, she's coming home from a party with her like cousin or childhood friend, and they're pulled over by the police, and her friend is shot and killed when he didn't do anything. He just kind of like made a jerk reaction or something. Okay. And then the whole thing is everyone's telling her to be quiet about it, but she wants to be very public about it. And everyone's like, no.
So who's telling her to be quiet?
Kind of everyone. Everyone's like, no, man, let's just let this one slide.
To be honest, that doesn't sound particularly realistic, because in any instance where there seems to be like a shooting of an unarmed black man, which happens too often in the States, it's huge news, and like we're not even in the States, and it's like front page news for days and days on end, and there's huge social media movements about it and stuff. I just don't... I mean, is it set like today, modern day?
Yeah, it's set modern day.
I can't imagine a situation where anybody would be like, be quiet about this. Like even police or make movements about like we need to crack down on.
Yeah, for sure.
That's really odd sounding, honestly.
Yeah, and no, it's definitely set like over the last
few years,
because there's so many references to Instagram, Tumblr, that kind of thing.
Oh, great!
In there, yeah.
The only thing better than going on social media is reading about social media.
Yep. Yeah, so that's I just wanted to talk about that one for a little bit, because I've kind of seen that trend a lot, where it's just kind of mediocre teen writing that's become a little bit of a better film.
Yeah, well, there are definitely instances of that, and I think that the teen genre definitely lends itself most towards that, where the films are better. I think Ready Player One is a good example, where it's something that's obviously geared towards being, Yeah, it's a visual medium more than it is a literary
Yeah,
one, really.
you prefer like spotting Trace to them being like, and then Trace was there. Do you remember her? I played that game for 200 hours.
If you get to spot it yourself, you feel like you're accomplishing something rather than
having it shoved down
in your
throat.
face. So that's a good example of that, I think. So what do you think that this might be nominated for then, if anything?
Maybe best lead lady.
Okay, lead lady. Do you know what the name of the actress is?
Gosh, no.
Okay.
She's been in like a lot really recently, but like she's kind of only recently been in a lot.
And she's supposed to be a teenager in this.
Yeah.
And does she look like an actual teenager?
Yeah, she looks like she's like maybe like a couple of years older than she's supposed to be, but for like for a film, yeah, she looks pretty good as like she looks pretty teeny.
Because we saw a couple of episodes of that Sabrina, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Yeah.
And she's supposed to be 15 in that, and that was one of the few times where the actress genuinely looks like they could be the age that they are.
Yeah, yeah, it was quite surprising, actually.
Okay, so I wanted to touch a little bit on the concept of Oscar bait, which is, films that are obviously made for the intention of pulling in Oscars. Yeah. So there's a very strict formula to how this works. You get previous Oscar winners or previous multiple-time nominees in for the film, usually maybe in a supporting role.
Yeah.
You get a director who's been at least nominated before, and you get a cinematographer who's won before, and then you make your film about something that's controversial in the year that the film comes out, or you make it about basically struggling people in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Because people, when the people of the Academy vote for these things, they like to feel that it's a film that's socially relevant and that promoting it is going to contribute to whatever the agenda might be.
Yeah.
And making it about a struggling actor or a struggling director is obviously something that the vast majority of the people working in Hollywood are familiar with.
Yeah, they'll be able to relate to it.
So do you think that there'll be a level of that to this film, or do you think that this is genuinely just a film that touches on those topics but isn't like a clear set, this is what we want, we're doing this for an Oscar?
I think I definitely wouldn't label it as, when you look at like all the different things that make up an Oscar bait, I definitely wouldn't label it as like a flat Oscar bait. I think it's got like a couple of little Oscar baity things to it, but I think it's kind of, rather than going for an Oscar, I think it's kind of,
it just happens to fit in there.
Yeah, I think it was maybe released at this time.
Okay.
And like obviously, I think there's kind of some things going for it, but I don't think, when you look at some of the other films on here, I don't think it's as heavily Oscar based.
See, I can't imagine this being perhaps that well received due to the fact that it's adapted, which generally speaking, most of the films that are nominated for Best Picture are usually original scripts, because they like to think that Hollywood's achieved it on their own rather than borrowing from something else.
For sure.
And I think that police brutality in film is something that's been touched on in previous nominees and serious contenders, such as Ryan Coogler's Fruitvale Station, which is a really good film. You should check that one out. But it's interesting because I think that a lot of people were kind of miffed by Moonlight winning the Oscar, because they felt like it just did everything that it could to fit in as many kind of controversial topics as it could. Yeah. So it had, it was about a black man who is gay, and then he comes from an abusive home, and then he has a drug addiction problem, and they were all kind of just these heavy hitting topics, which obviously
a person can be all of those
for sure, but I think that
kind of the way they went about it.
Something that particularly the African American community has a problem with is that every time there's a black led film that gets recognized by the Academy, it's always about slavery or just kind of Oscar bait current issues.
Yeah.
And there's a way to make a film about current issues without making it Oscar bait. I just don't think that Moonlight, perhaps for me anyway, was one that managed that. I think that it kind of played it up to too much and towards just like kind of unrealistic, like long monologues and stuff like that. Like it really plays for the Academy, and I think that that's what they were looking for with something like that. So there's a few kind of Oscar bait films coming out this year, and I just wanted to make it clear that I don't think that Oscar bait necessarily means that it's not going to be good.
Yeah.
There's some great Oscar bait films that are like, for instance, Jackie, starring Natalie Portman, is clearly just a let's get the best actress win for this film. Like, there's very little in the film that isn't Natalie Portman just acting her socks off, you know?
Yeah.
But it's still a good film,
Yeah,
you know?
still.
But then something else like The Danish Girl, for instance, is one that I really didn't enjoy. I thought that that was about a very, very early case of a transgender person.
Yeah.
I think that one really was kind of just like tone deaf, and
it kind of suffered from
so much of that film was just Eddie Redmayne just like touching dresses and closing his eyes, and I was like, what is it?
Yeah.
This is, and he got really outperformed by his co-stars in that film as well.
Yeah.
So that one really didn't come together. But so this year there's a few, but I want to talk about some ones that I'm actually more excited for. First of all, there's a couple of Netflix films which are going to be Oscar contenders. So if you're unfamiliar, a film has to have at least a limited release in cinemas to be eligible for an Oscar, which is why in the past Amazon Prime and Netflix originals haven't been in contention. Not that there's necessarily been any good enough.
Yeah, okay.
But Amazon Prime, Manchester by the Sea, they made,
Yeah.
and they released it in cinemas. And now I think this year Netflix has kind of said to themselves, look, it breaks our policy to put films in cinemas, but I think the advertisement of having an Oscar-winning film would be
Great for them, yeah.
pretty damn good. So
especially as we were saying with other streaming services coming
exactly.
up.
There's a lot of streaming services coming out in the following year.
So they want to remain at the top, you know.
So there's one called Roma, which is by Alfonso Cuarón, who won previously for Gravity, and has done quite a few other films, including like Prisoner of Azkaban. He did.
I didn't know this was a Netflix one, actually.
Yeah, it is apparently, and I don't know too much about it. The trailer's online. You check it out if you want. It's in black and white. Takes place in Mexico City, not Rome, as the title might suggest. And apparently, it's like semi-autobiographical.
Yes.
So I think that looks, and it's all got like unknown Mexican actors in it as well,
which is great because
exactly.
Then once you get an unknown in there, then someone will be like, hey, I want them in this too, and it's
exactly it's wonderful for their careers. But I think also in terms of the Oscars, I think that the Academy, they'll often either give the win to an actor who's been nominated several times, but they also love that underdog story, as we're talking about. Like, a lot of these people have really struggled to get to the position they're in today, so for them to be able to say, look, this is an unknown actor, like, that they've done a great job in this, like, here's the Oscar to them, is like, a huge underdog story, and they love that kind of thing. So I think that'll be a good one. And then just next week, actually, the Coen brothers are bringing out The Ballad of Buster Scruggs on Netflix, which looks super fascinating. It takes place in kind of like I don't know, Wild Westy type situation, but it's like an anthology series, so I think it takes place over several periods of time, or in several areas at the same time. Maybe.
Now the question is there an Oscar for best title?
I wish there was.
The Ballad of Buster Scruggs?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a good one.
That's a title. I think apparently this was originally meant to be a series, but now it's been a film.
Okay.
And the only other instance I can think of that happening was Mulholland Drive, which is obviously a huge hit and successful for awards and stuff. So, but the Coen brothers, I think, are great. They're so versatile, and they've got such a wide range of films that have been a success.
Of course.
And this one of my favorite Coen brothers films is one of their earliest ones. It's called Raising Arizona, and it stars Nick Cage as a convict who gets married to the woman who keeps taking his prison photography mugshots every time he goes in. And then they get married, they can't have children, and then a furniture salesman has like octuplets, and they decide to steal one of the octuplets to have. It's an amazing film, and I think tonally the trailer for The Ballad of Buster Scruggs looks most similar to that of all their films, and so I'm really looking forward to that one. What else? Okay, so Jürgen Lanthimos is a Greek director who was originally a stage director but moved over to film, and recently did films like Killing of a Sacred Deer and The Lobster. The Lobster shot in Ireland, quite locally actually.
Yeah, because it's funny because they'll go into a shop and you'll be able to like, I actually know that
yeah,
shop.
it's really odd considering we're in quite rural Ireland that you recognize places in the film.
Yeah, that was a weird film, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It's fun. Oh, sorry, I was going to say The Ballad of Buster Scruggs I think will probably be nominated for Best Screenplay or Best Supporting Actor if it's to be nominated for anything.
Okay, yeah.
I think Roma has a Best Picture shot, maybe.
Yes, yeah, it looks...
But this one, Lanthimos has a new film coming out called The Favourite, and it's got Rachel Weisz and Emma Stone in it, who are both previous Oscar nominees and Oscar winners, and I think that Lanthimos maybe has it in him to get a Best Picture nominee for this, or Best Screenplay, maybe.
Yeah.
And I think that Lanthimos' problems in his films has often been like he kind of goes on a bit of a tangent in the third act. So I think if he can tighten that up after the last two films, I think he'll probably get some recognition.
He'll have a chance, yeah. Yeah, because there's definitely, with the having actors in it who, have been nominated before, there's definitely that kind of mindset that, oh, this person really deserves one because they didn't get it for this film, and that definitely doesn't mean they deserve it for this film.
Exactly, that's a Leonardo DiCaprio effect.
Yeah. Where they're like, well, he's been in all these great films, so surely he should get it, but it's for the individual films, not for your whole career.
I agree exactly. I think DiCaprio is a good example of where he's been nominated before and arguably deserves to have won before. Personally, I'm not of the opinion so, but I'm not the Academy, so what does it matter? Yeah. But then he won for The Revenant, which
I really didn't feel was his strongest film at all.
The whole advertisement of that film was, this was so difficult to make and stuff, and it's like, yeah, but like maybe I'd have enjoyed a behind the scenes of the making more than the actual film.
Yeah.
I think that just because he got inside a horse carcass or whatever he did for that film doesn't necessarily mean that his performance was the best.
And also they're like, he actually ate a bison liver. Well, then he wasn't acting when he was throwing up, he just was.
Yeah, and also like, what difference does it make if you can fake eating a bison liver to the same degree on screen? What's the difference?
Yeah, in fact, if we're given an award for best actor, if you can act it out,
yeah, it's probably more impressive again.
Surely that's what we want to award.
Yeah, from now on we'll like kill someone's child so they can scream better in like the screaming heartbreak scenes or something like.
Wasn't there a story when they were filming Bambi? We were like recording the voice recorder. They told the child who played Bambi that like,
oh yeah,
his mother had been in a car accident.
I've heard something about that before.
So that
could be one of those like urban legends. I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
It could be true. I think that's a weird one.
Yeah, for sure.
Disney back in the day was something else.
Speaking about making kids cry, I was asking how in films do they make kids cry for the scenes that they want?
They get a hot poker in the fire and then they burn the bottom of their feet.
They burn the Disney logo into the bottom of their foot.
And they say, "You're ours forever."
Yeah.
Oh. I don't know, really. I've never actually worked with a baby in a film before. I've worked with children.
Yeah.
But working with children's okay because you can say, now do this, and they'll do it because they're not grown up enough, and like some actors can be real divas and be like, no, I'm going to do it this way, and you're like, but the script what's the word?
Necessarily?
No, necessitates. That's
needs.
It. Yeah, needs you to do it this way, and they're like, no, this is how I do it, and you're like, yeah, okay. But kids, you can just be like, say it like this, and they're like, okay,
cool, I'm on it.
Yeah, but babies is a different
ball game altogether.
A few other things that I think will do well. Natalie Portman's doing a film called Vox Lux about a pop star, which I think she sings for, and I think that'll be a Best Performance nominee. I think that A Star Is Born with Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper will be nominated for. I haven't seen this one either, but I think it'll at least be nominated for like this Best Soundtrack or Best Original Song, or maybe Best Performance for Bradley Cooper. He directed it as well, so
he did as well.
Considering he's a previous Oscar winner, they might like to give him a nod for Best Director, but I don't think he'll actually win it. I saw a film called Shoplifters, which is a Japanese film. It's by Hirokazu Korida, and he's the director of films like Father, Like Son, and I Wish, which are both really great. It's kind of like a drama type film, and I think that, for me, is the best foreign language film I've seen this year, and that should probably win. And then another interesting one is a film called Wildlife, and that's directed by actor Paul Dano, and it's featuring Carey Mulligan and Jake Gyllenhaal, and I think that could potentially do well. It looks like it'd be an interesting one.
What's that one about?
I don't know too much. The trailer's a little bit ambiguous, but it looks quite good. And good cast, good. Paul Dano's a great actor, and I think that he understands film better than the average actor.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes when you get an actor that turns to directing films, it can be a little bit kind of conceited, maybe, and a little bit, like patting themselves on the back and stuff. But I don't think Paul Dano's actually in this, as far as I know. So he's just directing. Looking forward to that.
Nice.
Yeah.
I saw most of the list saw that said that Black Panther might get a nomination.
Yeah, I've seen that Disney is moving to push both Infinity War and Black Panther for a nomination, but frankly, as much as I love Infinity War particularly, I don't think it's an Oscar film.
No, neither do I.
And I think that despite being a product of Hollywood, Marvel is such a Hollywood product that I think the Academy will say, if we start giving awards to these big budget blockbuster films, then we're going to lose out on the independent spirit of the...
Yeah, they kind of want to go for more like artsy.
Yeah. Sure. I think, Black Panther should probably get a soundtrack nomination, and it might, an Infinity War a special effects nomination, and at a stretch, I could even see... what's the name of the dude who plays Thanos? The guy with the
big chin.
The big chin. I can see him maybe at a stretch getting like a Best Supporting Actor nomination.
Yeah.
But then you get into the whole argument of should motion capture actors be able to be considered for the Best Actor thing, and there's not been a case of that before.
And if so, then everyone would be like, well, look at Andy Serkis. Like, please get that man
He
one.
deserves a Lifetime Award, I think.
Yeah.
They should do more Lifetime Awards. They don't seem to do one every year
Maybe
anymore.
if they focus more on Lifetime Awards than giving someone an Oscar, Best Actor just because they've been nominated.
Well, I think like Kevin Feige of Marvel should deserve a Lifetime Achievement Award. What he's achieved is unprecedented, and he probably deserves that.
Yeah. What are you thinking for Best Animated Film? Because, hey, look, Boss Baby won 1 year, so...
Oh, damn.
Incredibles 2 came out this year.
What else came out? I can't think of that many. Oh, Into the Spider-Verse? Nah, that won't win. It looks so gorgeous, though.
It looks so beautiful. Every time I watch it... there's that one scene where they're in the woods, and there's the trees.
It looks incredible, doesn't it?
It looks so beautiful.
I can't think of that many animated films that came out this year, honestly. Incredibles 2... Was there a Lego film this year?
I don't believe there was one this year. It seems kind of dry on the... Oh, of course, I'm forgetting Sherlock Gnomes.
Oh, Sherlock Gnomes.
The sequel to Romeo and Juliet.
It's got to be Sherlock Gnomes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't... Actually, I tell you what, we'll have a look at the animated films from this year, and we'll come back next week and say what we think.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so there's some thoughts. Let us know what you'd like to see win. I'm just going to throw out there that... Sorry to Bother You is probably my favourite film this year, and I don't think it'll win anything because it's not maybe the type of film that would appeal to the Academy, but I think it deserves a Best Original Screenplay, a Best Supporting Actress, and a Best Director nod at the very least. Like, it's an incredible film, so do check that one out. Tessa Thompson's in that for the Best Supporting Actress, and frankly, I've never been a huge fan of hers. I didn't really enjoy her in Westworld, and I didn't really like her in Thor as a Valkyrie that much either. I didn't feel like she was a fantastic fit, but she's so good in this. She's really, really great. So, check that out. Cool. Okay, we're going to move on from there?
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool. I've got a crap comic book character of the week this week, and it's only a really brief one, so I'll just kind of fly through it. So, this is a character called the Million-Year-Old Teenager. And this is, he's a villain from issue number 2 of the Teen Titans. I think it was the 1966 run of Teen Titans, so pretty old. But this was this was just a mess. This is issue 2, and it already feels like they've given up.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, I was thinking issue 2. Wow, that's really, really straight off the bat, huh?
Yeah. So this is not the kind of Teen Titans roster that you know from, Teen Titans the show and Titans the new show and the modern comics. This is Wonder Girl, Aqualad, Kid Flash, and Robin. So they're all just the kid versions of already existing characters, which were used to basically try and advertise to a younger generation of comic book readers. So they're really dull. They just act exactly like their adult counterparts. With the exception of maybe Robin. Robin's maybe a little bit more out there, but it's just super uninteresting.
Diverses from the original products.
So we're just chilling in a regular looking house room.
Okay, so they've not got like the big T tower yet.
No,
it's just a house.
It just looks like a house, and it's like their secret location. But then they get a radio call, and I'm like, surely you could just track radio calls. But anyway, they're in a secret location. They get a secret radio call from a girl who's from a town called Smedleyville.
Smedley.
Yeah. This is just how they like did their business at the time. They just hang out like eating biscuits until someone was like, "Hello, Teen Titans, please come and help us out." So anyway,
was the idea that like at the end of the comic there'd be like letters that kids had written into the Teen Titans to be like, "Hey, can you help me out with this situation?"
Sort of, but I'll get to that. So this girl, she's like, "Hey, there's a weird boy at my school, and he doesn't speak very good English. He's just a strange old guy." And they're like, "Okay,
time to check this guy."
No. And then she's like, "Also, a big caveman's attacking the town." They're like, "Oh yeah, we'll go check that out."
Why did you
lead with there's a weird boy who can't speak very well? Can he not speak very well, or can he not speak English very well? He can't speak English very well.
Oh, well, yeah, that's gotta crack down on that one, I guess.
But you see, they're tied, so that's
okay. Yeah, of course.
This is such a bad. So they're like, "Okay, let's go," and they just have like a regular helicopter, which they just like slowly start flying towards Smedleyville, like at no great speed.
And where does it look like? Where does it look like Smedleyville? Is it kind of like a
suburban type?
Okay,
like, yeah.
Because I was in my mind, it was going to be kind of a like a Smallville kind of deal, like all cornfields, but
yeah, like I'd say there's probably a lot of farmers around it and stuff, and like it looks like a pretty small town. But anyway, while they're flying over there. This girl is shown on her school bus, and she's next to this guy, and his name is Garn, and he just speaks in like pretty broken English, like, "I get bus, school now," and you're like, okay. He's obviously a caveman.
Yeah, wonder who's the caveman here.
But then the big caveman, who's like a proper like 10-foot caveman, attacks the school bus, and
with the kid on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh.
And the kid Garn then saves the girl, basically.
Okay.
And the police turn up and chase the caveman away, and
just waving their batons like, "Hey, get out of here, dog!"
Basically, and then Garn follows them to find out where the big caveman is living.
Okay.
But then they see him at the cave because he's followed them, and they're like, "It must have been him.
He was the caveman."
So he's in trouble.
Oh,
they blame him
Garn
for it. We then find out that the big caveman's name is Akuru, and all of a sudden he has a magical axe.
What?
He's not had this previously, but now he does. He's got a magical axe, and he just
how is it magical?
I think it kind of like he can throw it around corners and stuff.
Okay.
Anyway, the Teen Titans show up.
It's a magical +1 axe.
They're trying to find out what's going on, and Garn explains that he finds like a cave painting to show them his history.
Okay.
And his English.
Wait, like Garn's history?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's a million years old.
Okay.
Because as we know, humans were around a million years ago.
Yeah, that doesn't sound bad, right?
And also, he knew what the date was a million years ago to be able to work out and calculate that it's a million years later. But he was just like, they were cavemen living in a cave. And then there's these big mutant cavemen who are just like wild lumbering things, and they attack his cave, and the both of them get like stuck in a muddy ice thing, and they get preserved all this time.
Yeah.
So Garn gets out first, and he's like,
Time to go to school.
Yeah, time to go to school. He gets like adopted like Clark Kent and is like,
Okay.
I'll learn English and I'll go to school and I'll fall in love with this girl and stuff. And he's like, life is pretty good. And then the big guy gets out and he's like,
Oh.
time to kill.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but he doesn't even like speak. He's just like, oh.
Yeah.
And so yeah. Anyway,
I like how you can see the individual sound bites of unicorns.
my monkey noises. But then the Teen Titans fight Akuru. There's this wonderful bit before I get to the climax where, so there's a situation where Akuru is pulling all of them. It's like a human chain where they're each holding onto each other's feet.
Okay.
And at the end of it is Wonder Girl, and she's holding onto a tree branch.
Yeah.
Just with her hands. And then she literally says, like, my hands are so dainty and small, I can't hold this tree. Which, like, she's definitely the strongest of all of those characters. So she starts, like, doing something with her hair, and they're like, hey, I know we're about to die, but women, always doing their hair. But then,
oh my god.
But then what she actually does is she ties her hair around the tree,
okay.
and then, like, completely horizontally to the tree, like, perpendicular.
Yeah.
She puts her hands on her hips and, like, does this massive smile, and her hair is just, like, holding all of them. And then Kid Flash says, and I've got it quoted here, ring-a-ding-ding, I never thought there'd be a ponytail between me and eternity. And I've got the actual panel. It's so good. I think I'll put the panel like in the video because it's the best. It's the funniest panel I've ever seen in any.
Ring-a-ding-ding. I never thought there'd be a ponytail between me and eternity.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
It means that he'll be killed if the ponytail fails. But for some reason, her hair is stronger than her hands, which are small and dainty. So, and it was just the funniest thing I think I've ever seen, like on a comic panel. Like,
that's so
you know,
funny.
sometimes you're like, oh, that's silly, aren't you? But then, like, I was actually like weeping, laughing at this. She looks so stupid as well, like completely Anyway, I'll put it in the video. Anyway, so then. Akuru,
Kid Flash, does he have like a yellow suit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kid Flash. And then there's Aqualad, who's like blue and has long hair.
Oh, okay, cool.
And then Robin, who's got shorts, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
But then Akuru's like, if something happens, I forget. Akuru's then like, I'm going to attack this dam.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And they're like, he's too stupid to know, but it's going to flood the whole town. Smedleyville's in trouble. And I'm like, why is he attacking it?
Why on earth would a caveman be like, okay, I'm fresh out the ice.
I don't know.
I'm beating up superpowered teens, and now that dam's giving me a funny look.
Have to take him down. So he just takes his axe and starts chopping away at it. And the Teen Titans show up, and obviously Aqualad goes in the water, and they're like, nice. But Aqualad's still at the stage where he needs to go in water like every half an hour, otherwise he just dries out.
Oh, no.
So, anyway, long story short, they just kill him. They knock him off the dam.
Okay, so he went from the top up.
I guess.
Okay.
I don't remember, but they just straight up like kill him. The dam's collapsing, and they just knock him underneath it all.
Okay.
So he's dead. They're just like, haha, okay, but now we got to save Smedleyville. So they stop the dam collapsing somehow, and then they're
Probably
like,
with their hair.
yeah, probably
Tie the bits
they're
back
like,
together again.
we did it. We have no remorse for killing that guy who was a million years displaced out of time. But okay. And then Garn's name is cleared, and the girl's like, Garn, you were such a hero. And then they all just go back and read silly fan mail and like laugh, but like they cry laughing.
Okay.
And I'm like, literally like 5 panels ago, you killed him. Now you're just like having a giggle, like, okay.
And what's the fan mail that they're just crying laughing to?
It's like, help me out, my cat's stuck in a tree, and they're like, that's not a job good enough for the Teen Titans.
What?
You were about to check out this guy who just can't speak English properly. So this is the worst issue of anything I've ever read, and it's got its quaintness because of the time it came out in and stuff, but it's just so bad.
Yeah,
it's so like it's like they just couldn't come up with anything, and then they were like, our deadline's today. So
caveman, I guess.
They
They probably thought they were real clever because they had that twist in it. Because you thought Garn was going to be the caveman, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really make it seem that way in
Okay.
there, really. Like, when I say it, it kind of does, but...
In there, you're like,
yeah.
okay, this guy's...
Anyway, Elliot, have you seen any of the new Titans show?
No, I have read a couple of reviews.
Yeah.
And I will watch some to talk about it. Have you watched some of it?
I watched the first episode last night, and I've just got a few notes on it.
Okay.
I don't want to go into like a full review or anything.
Yeah, so maybe next week we'll do like a full, well, not a full review of the whole show, but we'll watch.
There's only like 3 episodes so far, I think.
Oh really? Well,
yeah.
we'll watch some of it, and then we'll tell you what we thought and what to expect.
But I just want to talk about some of my notes.
Okay.
My first thought is, like, I went into this knowing it's going to be edgy.
Yeah.
But I had no idea just how edgy it was going to be.
Okay.
And not edgy in like a Batman Begins kind of way, just like a... This is so senseless, like the violence and the swearing and stuff like it just isn't fun. It just feels so forced. So it's got no respect for the origins of the show whatsoever. Raven's name is Rachel, and she's just a girl who lives with her mum, and every now and then, like, a demon is just like, hello, it's me, the demon, and then she sees it in reflections and stuff.
So it's not at all, it's not like the origin
No.
of Raven.
No. She's, like, seemingly the only actual teenager in it as well.
Okay.
Robin is, like, a 30-year-old detective.
What?
Who's like, I've moved here from Gotham because I didn't get on with my last partner. I ended up being too much like him, and you're like, so is that supposed to be Batman? I
guess.
But he's literally like 30.
Okay.
So, like, fine. Raven's on a school bus, and then some just random dude who's got no business just comes over and calls her a slut for no reason, and then there's like a big fight, and there's all this drama. And it's like, can we please have one teenage drama where the female character doesn't just get called a slut for no reason other than
whatsoever.
to introduce a contrived drama.
Yeah.
Like,
Because
it's literally every show. It's like, this is the only way we know how to generate any and like, she's got a demon in her. Like, you can make better drama than this.
Yeah, and also if you're saying that, like, he just comes over, then he's just... There's no...
Yeah.
The audience doesn't know why he's doing that as
No,
well.
there's no reason. It's nonsense. And then it doesn't even amount to anything. Then we spend no time with her in school, and then she runs away. So you're like, what was the point in this other than to fill time? She goes home, there's a guy there, and he's like, this isn't your real mother, and shoots her in the head. So she's just...
the mother in the head?
Yeah,
Okay.
so she's just dead. And then Raven's like, I'm not safe. I need to run away. So she gets on a bus to Detroit. Which is like the most crime-filled city in all of America. Even when you consider that Gotham's canon in this, like, Detroit's still probably worse. So she goes there. She goes to like a homeless soup shelter thing.
Did, when I was talking one time about Man-Bat, was that in Detroit?
Maybe. I forget. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, or where was it? Yeah, because I'm pretty sure Man-Bat moves from Gotham to Detroit because he's like, I want to go to the other crime-filled city.
She's like, I've got a demon in me, but my mother's dead, so this whole city isn't safe. It's not me that's not safe, it's the city. So she goes to Detroit. Robin then goes after a child molester and kills... There's like a drug deal going down.
Okay.
He kills literally everyone in the alleyway apart from the child molester, and he kills them in like the most gory ways possible, like ripping out their trachea and stuff.
Why?
Some of the action's pretty cool actually, but it's just so like out of character.
Yeah, of course.
And then he beats up the child molester and says, if you ever touch your daughter again, I'll find you. And I'm like, why not just kill him? You kill literally everyone who might even be loosely connected to him. Why
the
why
guys
leave
might
him
have just
alive?
been there, you know? He was like...
I don't know. Anyway, Raven then goes to a soup shelter, and this woman's like, hey, come with me, I'll help you out. And she tries like forcing her into a car to kidnap her. Mm-hmm. So then she escapes because her demon only shows up in like reflections, like in every other thing with a demon in it.
Yeah.
And the demon's like, run. So she runs away. And she sees a police car, so she throws a brick at it, and they arrest her.
You know, because you can't just go over to the police and be like, hey man, someone tried to kidnap me there.
No.
Can you help me out? You've got to get arrested.
Also, in Detroit, they're probably just like, it's a beautiful morning, just another day in Detroit, having bricks thrown at me. So she goes to the police station. There's some kind of contrived drama where Robin doesn't get on with his new partner. He's like, yeah, whatever, you're my partner, just leave me alone.
Yeah.
So we've had no sign of...
Beast Boy?
Not yet, no. I was going to say, we've no sign of him caring about literally anything other than beating up a child molester.
So we've only had 2 characters so far. We've
25 minutes in, only 2 characters.
We've not had Beast Boy.
No.
We've not had...
You've literally got 4 seconds of Beast Boy in the first episode.
What's she called? Starfire?
She shows up, but not yet.
We've got, what are the 2... Is it...
Hawk and Dove?
Hawk and Dove?
They're not in it. I don't think they're even in it until like episode 4 or something.
Have you seen the concept art? Like, not even the concept art, like the
costumes.
The costumes.
No,
they look like they're from Watchmen. They're so different to everyone else. They're like that weird kind of. It looks like it should be hard, but you can tell it's just kind of soft and rubbery.
I'll talk about the costumes in a minute because this already feels so disjointed.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then Robin's in work, and this guy just comes in and he goes, "Hey Dick, you've got that thing for helping children out, right?" And he's like, "Okay." So he goes in to deal with Raven, and you're like, "What?" He literally, there's nothing to indicate other than like he beat up a child molester.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen no sign of him caring about anything.
Anyone at all.
At all. So you're like, okay. So then we go to Austria, where Starfire wakes up. She's literally 30.
Okay.
She's so old. She's dressed in the most ridiculous, like, sequin dress type thing. It looks horrific. Her hair, it looks terrible. She's in a car crash. She's lost her memory.
Of course.
For some reason. She doesn't know who she is.
Aliens have got to land on Earth and forget their memory.
Yeah. Well, obviously it's just a case of we won't have to explain her backstory if she has to find it out, I guess. So she's lost her memory, doesn't know her name, but for some reason she speaks German.
Of course.
And you're like, okay.
That's what the language all aliens speak.
Yeah. So, honestly, she seems more... Like, I'd believe that she was Austrian quicker than I'd believe she was an alien.
Yeah.
So, anyway, then she just kills loads of dudes. Then there's this one dude, she goes home to her hotel. I think it suggests then that she's sleeping with, like, the concierge at the hotel.
Okay.
But I don't know how she remembers this or anything.
No.
She's like, "What room am I in?" And they're like, "You forgot, you have the whole top floor." So she's obviously rich or like an assassin. I don't know what the deal is.
Okay.
She goes up, there's a dude like tied up in her wardrobe, and she's like, "Who am I?" And then she shows him a picture, and she's like, "Who's this guy? Like, I forget everything." And she like really beats him up, and then she's like, "I'll get you help and let you go if you tell me who this is." And so he does, and then she just breaks his neck, and she's like, "Haha," and you're like, "What?
Why would you do that?"
Well, like, if you've forgotten who you are, you've no reason to kill this guy.
No.
And like, did you forget everything apart from you speak German and you have murderous tendencies?
So it really sounds like she's just tearing through all of Austria here.
Yeah. Then she goes and meets a dude, and he tries shooting her, and she accidentally just like torches him and his entire staff, like burns them to ash, and then laughs about it afterwards.
What?
Yeah, I'm not even joking. Then someone kidnaps Raven from the police station. He goes in dressed up as a policeman and steals her. He's got her in a room then interrogating her about the demon, I guess.
Yeah.
And Robin shows up to try and save the day, but he can't because the door's locked, and he's like, "Well, I guess I'm just stuck out here." But then Raven turns into like a black goo, jumps down the kidnapper's throat, kills him, and then it just cuts back and she's back in the seat again, and you're like, "What?"
What?
And she's like, "Oh, I just want to be normal," and you're like, "Oh, okay."
I've got, it just leaves me with so many questions.
And then
which I guess a first episode normally should do, but not this kind of questions. My questions were like,
everyone's
who made
just so
this
murderous.
Yeah.
It's feels so wrong. It's like such disrespect to the characters. And then the final scene is a dude in an electronics store who's like security overnight. He's just like playing a game or something. Then he hears like a clattering. He goes around the corner, and like the Xbox game section is all like beaten up.
Okay.
And then he goes around the corner. He's got this torch that's kind of like a greeny light. And he goes around the corner and he shines the torch onto a tiger, which is just there with like a stack of Xbox games.
What?
It's a CGI tiger as well.
Wait, so the tiger isn't green, it just looks
I
green
don't know.
I
don't know. Well, the light is green. It's not clear if the tiger is green or if it's just got the green light on it.
See, this sounds to me like they don't want to make all the animals he turns into green, but they wanted to show it green.
But it's CGI anyway, so why does it matter?
Oh, man.
But then the tiger runs out. It's unclear how he carries the Xbox games with him. But he then crashes into some bushes and goes through what looks like a really painful transformation back into Beast Boy.
Okay.
It's so slow and gruesome looking.
Okay, so it's not like in the...
It's not instant in the comics.
Or in the old shows where he'll just turn into an animal.
It's a really slow... You remember that werewolf transformation in The Prisoner of Azkaban where Lupin... It's slow and CGI gooey that. He looks like...
That scene always looks so sore as well.
Yeah. At the end, he looks like... those Animorph books?
Oh, yeah.
He looks like someone just picked one from the middle of that and was that's what he looks like.
Oh, no.
So, so we've only 4 characters. One of them was for literally 4 seconds.
Yeah.
And we're just left knowing that 3 of them are happy to just commit murder for no reason.
And one of them loves his Xbox.
He loves Xbox. He had to get Xbox because the games are green.
Of course. I play D&D.
Yeah.
And my current character is a little bit like Beast Boy because his whole shtick is he can turn into animals. And in no situation when stealing games would I ever be like, the animal I need to turn into is a tiger.
Yeah. Why did he need to turn into an animal at all?
He
scared the security guy, but you'd be pretty scared if a green looking... He's not even... He's just got green hair, I think.
Okay.
You'd just be scared if there was just a dude in there in the middle of the night anyway, I guess.
Turn into a monkey or something that's agile and able to not
got
just tear
opposable
up.
thumbs.
Yeah, not just tear. Surely he had to put all those Xbox games in his big tiger mouth and run out with them.
It's the worst.
Imagine that security guard. What does he say to his boss next day? He's like, "Oh yeah, sorry boss, a tiger came in here and just stole all the Call of Duty games."
Yeah, he does a proper okay, well that's new.
What on?
Please no.
So it's set in Detroit City, is it?
Well, at least some of it is because that's where Robin and Raven end up in this episode. But then Starfire is still
in Austria.
Being 30 in Austria.
Yeah.
I can't get over how she looks, man. I just don't know what... she's got a massive real fur coat on, and then a sequin dress underneath, and the CGI when she uses her powers is just horrific. It's it's orange plasma moving around under her skin, and her eyes are bright green, and you're like, please. I just wanted... You just want them all to be 15 and having fun in Jump City. Why did you decide to make this such a
Detroit?
Gross,
Detroit
crazy...
is the opposite of Jump City.
Yeah, it really is.
Because Jump City is they never have to deal with petty crime because it's a real good city. Every now and then there's just kind of a supervillain.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that just makes me remember the old Teen Titans show and how much we used to enjoy that.
It's a great show. Still, it still holds up, isn't it? But there's no villain apparent in this either.
Okay.
Well,
apparently they're just the villain is just anyone they don't like, and they've got to murder them.
They might be a good dude, but we're not going to stop and ask questions.
I saw a clip of Beast Boy attacking someone, and he doesn't turn into a T-Rex or something. He does that weird... Do you remember X-Men Origins Wolverine?
Yeah.
Sabretooth thing that did that weird bounding run across the ground.
Oh, yeah.
And then he just jumps at the guy, and then it cuts.
That dude, what's the name of the guy? The M. Night Shyamalan film Split with James McAvoy? That's it. Yeah, one of his personas is called the Beast, and it's a demonic dude, and he runs like that as well. But it always looks so funny when you have a dude running like that in a film.
We're not made to run like that. We look so stupid when we do.
Yeah, and you have to. It's like a butterfly stroke in swimming, but you use your legs as well. It's just so stupid. I love it.
Because our arms are shorter than our legs.
Yeah,
so...
and you can't swivel your arms I just did it. You can't see obviously, but you can't swivel your arms behind your head and forward again. So
yeah, it looks so silly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, this week is just Titan sucks now.
Okay, we'll watch some more of it, and then we'll give not so much as a beat by beat, but kind of just a more of a review. And if you have a look at that, is it Raven and Dove?
Hawk and Dove.
Yeah, they genuinely look like what's the villain from Watchmen?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, God, what is it called?
Wait, so that's like a weird 60s look?
Yeah.
I heard that they have no powers in the show either. Is that right?
Maybe.
I don't know.
But they look like they look kind of like the Batman Forever-y. They're kind of like silvery, plasticky looking.
Is Dove the lady dove or the dude dove?
The lady dove.
Okay. So not the original one.
No.
So I guess we're not getting any backstory or anything either.
No, we're not getting any characters like they're supposed to be.
What fun.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's, I think, everything for this week.
Yeah.
You got anything to add?
No, that's it for me.
What are you rating Sabrina out of
Pierce Brosnan?
Pierce Brosnan?
Oh, yeah, we watched that. I'd rate it Pierce.
I'm going to give it Pierk.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. We watched 3 episodes, but my girlfriend's enjoying it, so I'm watching it with her. But I felt pretty uncomfortable through nearly all of it. I hate the way that it's got this really like ill-fitting mix of all of the female characters being like men are trash, but then also really weirdly sexualized shots of the character who's supposed to be 15, and you're like,
yeah,
it's like very male gazy, but also like women power, and you're like, these just don't mash very well.
Yeah, no,
and the fact that she's 15 is like,
maybe
why?
Yeah. No, maybe
you don't need nude scenes.
Maybe I'm just going with Pierce. Because, like, Winston, I was like, I'm entertained by this.
Oh, yeah, no, I was entertained. I just don't think that it's, like, good.
I think I was, like, watching something else at the same time on my phone. So, the best way to watch this show is watch something. I was watching Breaking Bad on my phone. And
yeah, well, that was a better decision.
Every now and then I'd look up and be like, damn, that sure is her dark baptism.
I can't believe that they still made the spells, like, hocus pocus, give me a fright, I will be your boyfriend tonight. And like that kind of, I just made that one up, but like that's how the spells sound. But then they were like, no, the cat can't talk. That's too ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, give me the talking cat. He's the best part of the show. God damn it.
Do you think maybe like the cat will talk later on, or does it just not talk at all?
I don't think it talks at all.
Oh man. Because
it shows up and it's like a goblin-y demon thing, and it like hides behind a door, and it's like Sabrina, and then it comes out and she's like ah, and then it turns into the cat, and she's like, "Ah!" and picks him up, and I'm like, "You know that's a demon."
Where did you do that? Yeah. That's a real Thor move right there.
Yeah, it sure is. Anyway, so yeah, I don't like it that much. I'll probably watch more with my girlfriend though, and maybe it'll get better. Yeah. I saw that the Satanist church are suing the makers of that show because they used like a devil idol that was copyrighted by them or something.
Oh yeah.
So good on you, Satanists. What else do you have to do but this kind of character?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's us for this week. We'll be back next week. I've got a video coming out Monday, Tuesday this week, so stay tuned for that. And Elliot's comic book character of the week next week, and we'll have more kind of animation stuff to talk about. And
so we got plenty for next week. So be sure to swing on by and give us a listen.
Yeah,
tell a friend.
Great. Last week's episode was good also, so check that out if you haven't already. We talked about Rocky and whether it takes place in an alternate universe. Yeah. It was a long sentence. All right, thanks for listening.
Lots of love. Bye-bye.
God bless.